Okay, that's 74.50.
74.50. All right. There's 80. I promised you $50 over the meter, right? I'll make that 100. If you wait for me. So let the meter run. I'll give you the other half plus the meter when I get back. Okay?
How long are you going to be?
I don't know, maybe an hour or more, but maybe only 10 minutes. I'll leave my stuff here in the back. Okay?
Okay.
All right, so let's take a look at a block. So this is a block, And it's exactly like the hash. It's just that that data section I've broken out now into 3 sections. One called block. This is just some kind of a number. This is block number 1. A nonce, which is just yet another number. We'll go into what that is in a second. And then just some more data, just very similarly to the way that we had it before. However, the hash of this, which includes all of this information up here, is down here, and it begins with 4 zeros. You see that? Okay, that's a relatively unusual hash. You know, most of them are not really going to start with 4 zeros like that, but this one happens to. And because it does, totally arbitrarily, I'm going to say that this block is signed. Okay? So what would happen if I were to change any one piece of this information? Let's say if I were to type something here, right? The hash is going to change. And what's the chance of, if I type letters, this hash is going to start with 4 zeros? Pretty low. It's probably not, right? So let's see what happens when I do that. I'm just going to say hi. Oh, look at that, right? This hash does not start with 4 zeros. And so the big background here has turned red. So now you know that this block with this information in it is not a valid or a signed block. Okay, and that's where this nonce comes in. This nonce is just a number that you can set to try to find a number that fits so that this hash starts with 4 zeros again. All right, so how do we do that? Well, let's start with 1. Does that start with, no, it's 3, 2, 7, that's not 1. So let's try 2, FF now, 3, 4, 5, 6. You get the idea. Like I could sit here, there's one that starts with a 0. I could sit here all day typing these numbers and trying to figure out one that actually is going to hash out to something that starts with 4 zeros. Going to take a long time. So here I have my little mine button. I'm sure you've been wondering what happens if I press that. So what's going to happen when I press this mine button is it's going to run through all the numbers from 1 all the way up to try to find one where the hash starts with 4 zeros. And this process is called mining. Let's do it right now. So now it's checking all of the numbers from 1 all the way up. Whoop, there. Now it's stopped at 59,396. And that one just happens to hash out to something that starts with 4 zeros. And it satisfies my little definition of what a signed block is. Okay, so that's a block. Can you tell me what a blockchain is? It's probably just a chain of these blocks. Well, how do you put them together? Let's do that. All right, so here's my blockchain. I've block number 1. It has some kind of a nonce just like before. There's some data area to it, but then it has this previous. And here it's a bunch of zeros. Let's roll forward. So this is block 2 and block 3 and 4. This blockchain has 5 blocks on it, right? The previous here starts with 00 AE8, right? Is this number, AE8. And then this previous, B90 is this one over here, B90. So you can see that each block points backwards to the one before it. And you remember that the first block over here, there actually is no previous, so it's just a bunch of zeros. It's actually just a fake number. Okay, so just like we did before, what happens if I change some information here, right? It's going to change the hash of this block and it's going to invalidate it, right? Well, let's try that. So I'm going to type hi again. Sure enough, that block is invalid. All right, just as we assumed. But what would happen? I'm going to fix that now. We'll go back to something that worked. What would happen if I change something in this block? Right? It's going to change this hash, but this hash gets copied up to this previous, so it's gonna change this one too, right? So it should break both blocks. So let me try typing hi in there, and sure enough, all right? So we can go back as far as we want, to some point in the past and break that block, and it'll break all the blocks since then. Everything before is still green, but this one is red. So if I wanted to, change something in this blockchain, I could just go over to block number 5 right here. We could change it. I'll put high. And then we could remine it, you know, and pick a different nonce. We'll do that right now. And we could essentially alter the chain. So we've done it. So that we should be good now, right? All right, well, what happens if I go back in time to here and I break it here? Now I have to mine this block, which will pick a nonce that makes this block hash out to 4 zeros, if we can find one. Sometimes it takes a while because it's got to run through a lot of them. There it is. It found one at 138,000. All right, but this one is still broken because although this one starts with 4 zeros, adding the 4 zeros with different stuff up here still makes this block hash out incorrectly. So I also have to mine this block. All right. And that takes some amount of time. That one was a little bit quicker. And then I have to mine this block.
And I started researching Bitcoin in 2013. It took me until 2 years of basically full-time research before I understood enough that I trusted it and I was willing to go all in.
The world is a crazy place, and the way it's organized is surely crazy, but we have to be crazy enough to see what that way is if we're really going to understand this physical world. It's not just a matter of nice, simple formulas. There's some ideas out there that are waiting to be discovered.